Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Director Melinda Carter of the Equal Business Opportunity Commission Office.
They're driving fast cars, but they don't know.
Excuse me. Move these back. Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the 13th Annual Mayor Small Business Conference. Again, I'm your MC for this morning, Melinda Carter. This year, our conference is all about business unusual, approaching business from outside of the box and outside the boardroom to leverage unconventional thinking and innovative approaches. In my role as Director of EBO, I know firsthand the importance of equipping small business owners with tools and resources needed for success. And that's just what we're all about today. Our goal today can be summarized down to 4 words, and it's what I like to refer to as the 4 I's: inspire, inform, interact, and innovate. I challenge everyone here to do just that, to be present and to be deliberate in our interactions and exchanges, taking practical steps that you can incorporate in your business practices. I know we've got a lot of expertise here, and I want everyone to make sure they take advantage of them. And as a matter of fact, we've got just the right business expert with us here today to begin our program. That is Ms. Jane Grote-Abel, Chairwoman of Donato's Pizza. Just give you a little information about Jane. She is a founding member of Donato's Pizza, and she currently holds the title of Chairwoman of the Board. Over the past 4 decades, she's held various positions at both Donato's and Jane Doe Foods, Donato's food service commissary operation. In 1988, with a degree from OSU in organizational communications and a strong passion for people, which shows in every way, she was promoted to Chief People Officer, I like that name, and served in this role during the acquisition by McDonald's in 1999. During her years with McDonald's, she served as Senior VP of Development and maintained her role as Chief People Officer. In these leadership positions, she helped steer the company's business strategy. In 2003, she was a major catalyst behind the decision to purchase Donato's back from McDonald's. Following the buyback in December of 2006, she was promoted to President and Chief Operating Officer of Donato's Pizza. Though Jane is heavily focused on the chain's mission of promoting goodwill through product, service, principles, and people, since taking over as chairwoman, she has time to focus outside of Donato's. Her roots trace back to the first store on Thurman Avenue on our own South Side, and she and her family remain committed to that success and to the South Side. Her evidence of her support of the South Side of Columbus is the $1.5 million donation that the Grote family contributed to help the city plan to revive the South Parsons corridor. She has been an advocate for this project from its inception and founded the Reed Avenue Center. So we'll be glad to welcome her later. So let's dive in. And without further ado, please join me in welcoming the man behind the vision of this conference and someone I'm honored to call a dear friend and a fearless leader, Mayor Michael Coleman. The mayor will be followed by our small business concierge, Ryan Snick. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I want to say thank you to Melinda Carter for all her good work over these many years. Let's hear a round of applause for her. She's done a phenomenal job. I appreciate her so much. Welcome to the 13th Annual Minority and Small Business Conference. Oh, sorry, I didn't say it right. To Mayor Michael B. Coleman's 13th Annual Minority and Small Business Conference. And I want to thank the folks that put this together. They do it every year, and they do such a fine job. Keena Smith is a champion. I'm grateful for her. PMM has been a phenomenal resource for the city of Columbus. We're grateful for all their work they do for us at this conference and other things as well. And so many others of our city that participate and engage in this. All of our directors, many staff folks work on this over the year and make sure it's right for everybody. This is the 13th year. This is my 16th year as mayor. I just wish I had done it all 16 years and not just 13 years. And why do we do this every year? Why do we have this small business, minority business conference every year? Well, first of all, it's important to me, and it's important to have this every year, but here's what's going on in Columbus right now. Here's what's going on and why this is important. You know, I think about some of the things that are happening in our city and where we stand at this very minute in the city of Columbus. You know, things like in our downtown area, our Class A office space vacancy rate is at an all-time low in our city while we're building new Class A space every day. Our violent crime rate, I just learned, has now declined in double digits decline over the past several years. We're proud of that. All at the same time while our population has increased in double digits. And so what usually happens when population increase, so does crime, but it's happening in reverse in Columbus. Population's increasing, our violent crime rate is declining in our city. I look at also in our downtown, our vacancy rate for residential is only 3%. Only 3%. In our neighborhoods, many of our neighborhoods that have been neglected over the years are finally coming back. We've demolished over 1,000 vacant and abandoned houses in our cities, and we're building hundreds of new houses in neighborhoods all over our city, and we're very proud of that. Our unemployment rate in the city is the second lowest in the nation, about 4%. And that's taken a lot of hard work to create jobs at every turn and every possibility. Our school system is starting to improve. We have started a preschool effort, pre-K effort that is educating young people before they get into the first grade, in the second grade, and the third grade, and their scores are going up as a result. Our utilization rate for minority and female professionals in the city of Columbus, in other words, the work the city of Columbus provides to minority and female businesses in the professional arena, is 30%. 30%. That is off the charts. We're proud of that. Growth and prosperity has arrived in our city. We're very proud of our growth and prosperity. Our city is in the best financial condition it has ever been. And I'm leaving office. But why is this important? Why is this important? Because I believe we must share in the growth and prosperity of our city. As our city improves, gets better every day, those who do business in our city need to do better as well. Their growth and prosperity, your growth and prosperity, is locked hand in hand, arm in arm, with the growth and prosperity of our city. In fact, the truth is, our city cannot prosper unless you prosper. That's the way it works. And so I want to make sure that we all have that understanding that we work together, we make a commitment to each other. The city makes the sign says time's up. Man, I guess I need to sit down. We need to learn together. We need to build wealth together. We all need to work together. All boats must rise together. And so I'm so glad to see you all here. This will be a great day for all of us to learn, to grow, and to prosper in our city. God bless you. Thank you very much. I'm sitting down.
Good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Schick, and I am your small business concierge for the City of Columbus. Under the leadership of Mayor Coleman, Council President Andrew Ginther, Councilmember Shannon Hardin, Chairman of the Small and Minority Services Development Committee, and Director Scott Messer, Director of Building and Zoning Services, we have fundamentally changed the way small business and city government collaborate with one another by creating a singular point of contact between you, the small business owner, and city government. In fact, we are the very first city in the nation to have a position like this. Whether it's a small permit inquiry, inquiring into financial assistance, or finding out whether or not your property is properly zoned, I will make sure that you receive the right answer. Our goal is singular. It's to help you get started while avoiding any unnecessary roadblocks. And the best part, this service is entirely free to you and your business. To those I've already met, I thank you. For without your assistance, this position would not be what it is today. Because when business and government work together, as the mayor just said, incredible things happen. To illustrate this point, I'd like to tell you a story about a small business that opened last year over on Gay in Front, B-Love Bridal. One afternoon, I received a very urgent phone call from one of their owners saying that they were due to open in 4 days, but that their contractor had told them that they did not have the necessary permits to do so. The problem turned out not to be with the city, but their contractor had actually never requested the final inspection permits. Not saying, sorry, he can't open, Building and Zoning Services and its incredible employees actually turned around and rushed to get them all the necessary permits that they needed, and we were able to do so just in time. On a personal note, I happened to walk by their shop 45 minutes before that first dress fitting. Seeing that they were still cleaning up sawdust while carefully hanging these beautiful wedding dresses, you should check the place out. I whipped off my jacket and started taking out trash for them. When we said goodbye, I saw a glimmer in their eyes that conveyed both elation and fear. They were minutes away from opening their very own small business. Isn't that powerful? I love that City Hall made this moment possible, not just by creating this position, not just by creating it, but by letting you, the small business owner, define it. So how can you reach me? It's as simple as an email. Please, if you want to, take out your pens. My email alias goes directly to me, but it's much easier for you to understand, is smallbiz, B-I-Z, @columbus.gov. Don't like email? Facebook me. Don't like Facebook? Snapchat me. However you want to work with the city, I'm ready to work for you. Mr. Mayor, 1 year ago you said, it's the status mo, not the status quo. Because of your leadership and the hard work of every city employee who has helped me help others, I'm proud to report that our mo is very much a go. Thank you for attending the Mayor's Small Business Conference. I look forward to meeting each of you.
Thank you, Ryan, and thank you, Mayor Coleman. Please now welcome County Commissioner John O'Grady, followed by Councilmember Shannon Hardin, who also serves as the chair of the Minority and Small Business Committee for City Council. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you, Melinda. Big thank you to Mayor Coleman. Nobody knows better than any of us the importance of small business to the growth and the continued growth of a successful community, so thank you, Mayor. Small businesses are the engine that drives the economy here in Central Ohio. It's true wherever you go, but it's especially true here. Our population is young, educated, and motivated, and it's a population that's largely made up of entrepreneurs and shoppers. At Franklin County, we really like shoppers since we're a sales tax-based organization, so keep shopping here in Central Ohio. But because we have this population of shoppers and entrepreneurs, Columbus is often a product test market. Some of the examples are RISE, which is the Retail Incubation Supporting Entrepreneurs organization. It's one of our partners at Franklin County, and they focus on assisting low-income individuals to start and grow their existing enterprises. We also partner with Rev1, formerly Tech Columbus, a venture development organization that helps both connect and fund tech companies that people need. We also like to invest in Main Street. Franklin County does this through our Downtown Works initiative for our smaller suburban areas. We have our WIT-G program, the Workforce Investment Training Grant Program, which we've been nationally recognized through the National Association of Counties for, and we also like to support our local food initiatives. So I can't say enough for the small businesses that are the backbone of our economy, and we know that our innovative and dedicated local businesses can compete successfully in the ever-changing marketplace, and we are really excited about the opportunity to be able to help them. Here in Central Ohio, there are many valuable resources for small businesses of all types, and I encourage you to contact city and county departments of economic development so that we can help you continue along your journey. Thanks again for all the hard work that you're doing. Enjoy the rest of your conference. Thanks.
Good morning. I'm Columbus City Council member Shannon Harden. I have the honor of chairing the Small and Minority Business Committee on Council. And this morning, I want to recognize my colleague who is here, Councilmember Eileen Paley. Would you stand and be recognized? I would like to thank Mayor Coleman and his administration for, again, bringing the Small and Minority Small Business Conference, again, to the city and allowing us to come together and network and find ways that we can continue to support small businesses in our city. I want to thank Director Davies, Director Carter, their team, Keena Smith, Randall Sistrunk, Derek Anderson, Demita Brown, Toya Johnson, for all the work that has gone into putting on this awesome conference. Of course, I want to thank our sponsors, Nationwide Insurance and Huntington Bank, for their generous support. This year, our committee has been very busy supporting small businesses in our city. We continued funding for the city's small business concierge, which you heard from Ryan Schick, to liaison with entrepreneurs and small businesses owners of all stripes. We've even added funding for marketing so that more folks can know about this opportunity. We reapproved the Discovery Special Improvement District in downtown Columbus and recently created the University Special Improvement District at the request of business owners in both communities. We continued funding for small business loans to be made by the Finance Fund and the Economic and Community Development Institute through the City of Columbus. We've worked with our citywide training offices to offer free courses for bookkeeping, Microsoft Office, and other skills training to small business owners located here in Columbus. And I'd say, again, a very special thank you to Councilmember Paley, who created that program. And I've been very proud that over the last few months, we began taking the Small and Minority Business Development Committee out of City Hall and into the neighborhoods of Columbus, where small businesses are making the difference. So enjoy the conference today, enjoy the networking. Make sure that you are registered with the city as a small business. We do business with small business, so come work with us. And thank you, and have a good conference.
Thank you, Commissioner O'Grady and Councilmember Harden. Certainly appreciate your support and the hard work that you do. I gave you a tidbit earlier, a little taste earlier about our speaker this morning, and just to get ready to begin our conversation with her, I want to share just a few more things. As I indicated, Jane Grote Abel is the chairwoman of Donato's Pizza. She is also, and I talked about the other wonderful accolades and her work professionally, what she's done, and some of the commitment to the community, but I wanted to go on to say that she is also a member of the American Heart Association Go Red for Women, and she co-chair for the 2016 Go Red campaign. So I have on read today in celebration of all that work she's done there. Jane has received a number of awards and recognitions. Most recently, she was named to the YWCA Academy of Women of Achievement, one of only 237 women so honored since 1986. In 2014, Columbus CEO magazine named Jane CEO of the Year, and Franchise Update magazine listed her as one of the top 24 women in franchising. So everyone, please join me in welcoming Ms. Jane Grote Abell. All right, I'm really excited to talk with you and to share and have you share with our attendees some of the wonderful things that you're doing and some great business insight. So I have, of course, questions that we prepared. We want to make sure that your time was well spent and that the information that you will share would be something that would be important. So these questions, although they're pretty general, well, they're not general. I think they're excellent questions, actually. But I want to make sure, of course, I didn't write them. I'm not taking all of that. If there's anything else you'd like to share, if there's something you think I left out, please feel free to do so. So let's begin with the challenges and opportunities that you see in your industry over the next 5 to 10 years, and how are you as a company preparing for them? I mean, things are changing. I keep telling small businesses and minority-owned businesses that the world is changing and we have to do business differently. So how have you led your company to deal with those changes?
Well, the world is changing for sure. Good morning, everyone. It's good to see everyone here this morning. I would say the most important thing you can do is understand what's in your circle of control, what's in your circle of concern. And so the concern area is what is changing in the outside world and how does it impact you as a business leader? And so then it's how do you influence change? What you can control is what you do on a day-to-day business and running your business with principles and integrity and making sure that you're treating your customers right and your associates right. That's what you can control. When things like, it's a political topic, I know, but things like minimum wage or healthcare, it's about influencing the outcome. And I'll use the example, I have a 15-year-old daughter who works at our Bexley location, so if you ever want to go make fun of her, she's there. And I have to pay her the same amount that I have to pay my single mom or my single dad or someone that's trying to make a living. And so things like that, it's about having a voice. Although I may not be able to change it, it is having a voice in circles of influence that you can at least talk about how do we create a minimum wage for minors and a living wage for adults. So while those type of things, you're in business every day, those are opportunities that you can see, and it's remembering that our city and our state are our friends, and really getting the right people around the table to have those type of conversations.
Oh, that's great. That circle of control that you have is really important. Agency, that you have control over certain things. I like that. Thank you. Okay, I know that Donato's began franchising in 1991, and you have more than 100 franchises across the Midwest, South, and Southeast. How's that been? Has it been good or?
Well, as you know, small business owners, when you license your name to someone else to open the doors and operate what you maybe gave birth to, it's a little hard. So I would say in 1991, we were very parental, very controlling. And I think the biggest thing we learned over the last 52 years or the last 30 in franchising is making sure that you're selecting the right franchise partner. Franchise, we call them partners because you're in business with them and you're working with them, it's not against. And it is a license to do business the way that you've identified, the way you want to do business. And unfortunately, franchise partner agreements last longer than marriages because they're 20-year agreements. And so it's really, really critical to make sure that you're picking the right franchise. So it's been very successful for us. One of the things I learned, we were a family business my whole life. I was an owner on paper, which was really nice. It was really great when McDonald's bought us, and I understood what that meant. Before that, I always knew I paid more in taxes than I ever made in a salary. So once that happened, and then when we bought the company back, an important change in my mindset, and all of you probably know this, because I signed the front of the check for the first time, and I endorse that check to buy the company back, which is very different than signing the back of the check. And so thinking and acting like an owner and getting your people to think and act like owners, that's different. But that's why franchising works in our business, because we literally have people endorsing the front of the check, handing it over, saying, I believe in what you stand for and I believe in what you do.
Oh, that's great. Okay, well then, did you have any particular obstacles that you didn't expect that you had to deal with? And just wondering how you dealt with those when you're a small business that get into some situations that they don't know what to do, and just wondering.
Yes. Well, I say franchising, I think it's the most important is it's about the person, and making sure that you franchise with the right person. For example, Robert E. Lee, who is our franchise partner in our airports, right there. So let's hear it for Robert E. Lee. But it is about the person, and there's a lot of people out there with money. And in our past, we selected people because we thought, oh, well, they can develop this whole market for us. And we signed a master development agreement with the person, because that's what you're doing. You're signing up for that person. And when you have the wrong person and you're in agreement, that's an entire market, and they're not operating with the same principles. Those are really hard things to get out of. And unfortunately, we had that experience. And it affects your brand. So I can't say enough about making sure you have the right people like Robert E. Lee, that you know when a crisis hits or when there's a challenge, that they're going to operate from a core of integrity.
That's great. Yeah, congratulations, Robert. He certainly is a minority business owner that we've known in the city for a long time, so thank you. Also, what challenges and or opportunities do you see occurring in your industry over the next 10 years? I know one of the things that when I look at businesses, I think everything is, and I may be using bad language, but collapsing. Like there's one bank or one, it's getting smaller and smaller. Companies are getting bigger, and some small businesses that might have filled a niche are being gobbled by big business. That's just one thing I know, which may be good and bad. But just wondering how you feel about your industry and what are the opportunities or challenges that you see occurring in the next 10 years?
Well, we're pizza, and it is a commodity, right? Like you can get it anywhere. You can get it out of vending machines right now.
But they don't taste the same.
They don't taste the same. I agree with that. Oh, I hope they don't taste the same.
No, they don't.
But I think there's innovation has to be part of what we do every single day, and it's about differentiating yourselves. And I think what's fortunate about small businesses, there's a movement on local. And so huge movement on local, and we're actually expanding into the Nashville market. I think that's public. The Nashville market here shortly, and we're really excited about it. But the whole idea is people don't want to be perceived as change. They don't want to go to a place that is a chain. And so there's a movement of really great, awesome opportunities for small business because people want to know they're buying local and they're giving back to the community locally. So our business, we're kind of right in the middle. I would say we're not the large national player. We're a pretty large regional player, but we have to differentiate ourselves. So things that we're working on are clean label, making sure we have very high quality, natural, organic products, making sure our environment is friendly, but also edgy, and really meeting the whole new millennial generation that's out there, which I have kids in that generation, because it's different. And it is about, although this isn't different for our company, but it's about giving back. And it's about making sure that you're doing business in a community, but also giving back to the community.
That's great. I love that because I really am concerned about conscious buying. I always think about that. Where you buy, even if you have $10 or $20 or $1 million, where you buy pizza or gas or anything matters. And so being a conscious buyer of a company that cares about our environment, our community, that's really important. I know one of the things that we have, Mayor's Neighborhood Pride, we have pride businesses. And if you're a pride business, which you always are, we put, your window here always says, if you're not a pride business, don't shop there. So I just think we, as people, should think about that. So I'm very impressed and glad to hear, which I knew, but many may have not, about Donaldo's commitment not only to the city, but also commitment to the health and the best products for your customers. That speaks a lot. And that conscious buying about companies that care about us really mean a lot. It helps you grow. It helps us be a better place. So thank you. Also, let me ask you, in terms of customer service, I mean, we always talk about, customer service, and do we have the workforce that can address issues with customer service, and how friendly and our young people don't necessarily have the same kind of customer service personality, I'll call it, as we do. How do you deal with customer service issues?
Well, in Donato's, I've been in it my whole life. I would say there has been a change, and most of the changes today, most kids are looking down, right? And so their heads are down, they're in their phones all the time.
Yes.
So really specifically, and we hire 14 and 15-year-olds, teaching people to look up. And we literally are teaching people now how to say hello and look people in the eye and how to smile and how important that smile is even on the phone. So they're basic human skills that I think because of technology, which is a wonderful asset to business, the social media is incredibly important to business today. And our kids know how to use it. So, but teaching them the fundamentals of really how to be respectful, how to talk to people, how to communicate in such a way that's grateful. So I would say, I'd love to say we're the best in the industry. It is something we've been working on for years. It is one of our major initiatives this year, so hopefully our service will continue to get better and better. But it all starts with hiring the right person. And if someone comes in for an interview, and what you're noticing is they're not outgoing and they're not friendly and they're not engaging with you, it's typically a pretty good sign that that's not going to happen throughout their employment history. So it starts from the very first interaction with the person, but it's also about having the processes in place to have the 2-interview process. We do screening, we do personality profiles, we do role playing, all before we even hire a person. And that's a critical part of making sure then when you put them in the drive-through, like my daughter, or when you put them on the phones, or when you put them on really as a delivery driver coming to your home, that they're going to be polite and respectful.
Great. Okay, I think they take my role as the EBO director, take it away if I didn't ask this question. But in terms of gender, has it impacted your opportunities, do you think, or do you think it's had a role in perceived barriers, and what advice would you give to other women leading a company?
It's a great question, and I grew up in the pizza business, but also a family business. So generationally, my grandpa told my mom not to go to college because she wasn't going to progress anywhere. So that's that generation. My dad didn't finish college. He went to Ohio State, but started his business, but insisted that we all went to college. So I think obviously it's changed generationally on the expectations of who we are, but there's still barriers. It doesn't matter who you are, there's always opportunities in front of you. And I think for us, 40%, actually 60% of our restaurant managers are women. So we attract some incredible people. We focus on the talent first. Has it impacted me? I'll remember the very first time we hired someone from Wendy's, and Wendy's is a great organization, but it was a gentleman that worked with the family. So his first impression of me, he walked in and goes, yeah, I know all about you, family members. And I was like, oh, like I was only 22, I think, at the time, so I can see why he would say that. And so I think the impression of not only being a woman, but also being a family member, it does give you that sense that you have to work a little bit harder. You have to clean the toilets a little bit longer in the restaurants. You have to do things really to prove yourself, but you would expect that from anyone. But I think sometimes being a female in a family business can set barriers beyond that. But it's just working through it. It's just making sure that you demonstrate who you are and working hard to make sure you overcome it.
That's great. You know, I know this conversation has been so great, and I know my time, I'm not doing a good job on time. So this is going to be kind of the last question, probably be an A and a B. But if anyone would have questions, we're going to start lining up. I think there are going to be people that are coming around asking if there are questions. But I'm going to ask you a couple of questions in like a series, and then from that you pick out what you like. And basically, in terms as a leader, I know everyone who either leads people or manages, let alone run a company such as yours, they stay up late at night, wondering and thinking, And I just wonder, what is it that keeps you up at night? What's next for you? And what would you like to see as your legacy?
Wow. Well, I don't stay up at night worried.
Oh, that's
I'm not a worrier by nature. I stay up at night because I'm excited. I'm excited about our opportunities. I think the thing when you're in a people business that's hard is sometimes you have tragedies. For example, we had a driver who unfortunately ran a red light and he was killed. It was at our downtown location, and had only been with us for 6 months, but the impact that he made on that store and in our entire organization, that's what's hard, right? You're dealing with people's lives. So that's, I wouldn't say worries me, but it's sickening. And those are the hard parts of business, but there's also wonderful things about business with people that you get to see grow and develop and do incredible things. So what I want to see is my legacy. I don't think of it as my legacy, but I'd like to see Donato's legacy, just the legacy of continuing to give back to the community in which we do business, because it is because of the community that we are in business.
That's great. And then how do you differentiate your brand, Donato's? It tastes great, to say the least, but I mean, how do you differentiate? How do you stand out? And how can businesses who are similarly situated, or everybody has competition, how do you do that?
Well, you should tell me that. I think it's about quality ingredients, and it's about being able to deliver a product to the consumer, the customer, that you can trust us. And it's about building trust with your customers. And so we can do quality ingredients and clean labels and making sure we're moving towards an environment really that's healthy, making sure that we're providing products that are healthy. But it's truly our restaurant manager in your neighborhood building trust with you. That's what is going to make a difference for each of the communities in which we do business. I know I'm being flashed at.
That's great. We're being flashed at. And I had another question, but we're being flashed at, so I know I'm done. Any questions from the audience?
My question is, what's your why? I know that you have a family and a husband and a big business, but what's your why? What keeps you motivated every day to get up and continue to do your business as a woman every day?
Our people. Honestly, ever since I was a little girl and we stood under the big Donato sign with my dad in my pajamas, and he said, we're going to be around the world one day, but we're going to do it with principles and goodwill. There's 4 of us children. I'm the one still in the business that it is our people. I was at our downtown location on Friday night, and in the back talking to a new associate that had been with us for 5 weeks, and said to me, tearfully, he said, this job changed my life. I was on the streets and I was doing drugs and I was in a gang, and this job has changed my life, and thank you for that. And that's why.
Thank you for spending your morning with us. My name is TJ Johnson, and I love the mariachi beat. That's my favorite. Yeah. Okay, we know you're a local sensation, but most recently you became a national sensation on Undercover Boss. Share with us that experience, and what exactly did Donato's do and change after that experience?
How many people here have seen the episode of Undercover Boss? Well, just to give you a brief history, if you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. But our answer is yes until there's a reason to say no. And I will tell you before, and we said yes, and they went through this interview process, and I could tell you lots about the entire process itself. It was 2 weeks. It was 186 hours of filming for 40 minutes. Whoa. And they microphoned me from the minute I woke up to the minute I went to bed. I wasn't allowed to call anybody. They really do an incredible job on the show. And so on the show, we had a delivery driver who unfortunately decided to tell me that he was smoking pot with our customers. That was not cool. And so it was our campus location, and if you saw the show, so it was crazy. And so at the end of the night, before we actually committed to the show, because we have no editorial rights, no creative rights, I didn't see the episode until the world saw the episode, so you can imagine I was sick to my stomach the night that it aired. And so that night that he decided to tell me that on national television, at the end of the night, it was 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm standing on High Street, downtown Columbus, right? And the cameras are in my face, it's about this bright, and I have the producer behind the camera going, don't you want to go in and fire him right now? And some of the advice I had gotten I interviewed a couple CEOs, White Castle had been on it, that had done it, and they said, just be yourself. Whatever you do, you're gonna be so exhausted during this process, the only thing you can do is just be yourself. And she about 6 times kept saying, don't you want to take your wig off? If you saw me, I was a rockabilly. I wasn't a cool looking rockabilly. But I had tattoos and a nose ring and black hair, and I said, I would never do that. I would never go in our store and fire someone on the spot. So I said, no, I said, I want to get him off the road immediately, but I don't want to go in and fire him on camera. So after the 6th time I asked me, I said, honestly, I'm not going to do that. But what we did do, and I'm so excited for this kid. What we did do is tell him on air, what showed was he could come back if he took a drug test and he was clean after 30 days. What didn't show is if he took another one for 6 months, every 30 days, he could come back and we would pay for his last year at Ohio State. So that didn't show, but that's what we're doing, and he's working for us still at our Clintonville location. So exciting.
Good morning.
But it was a crazy experience.
Good morning. My name is Gina Cunningham, and I just wanted to ask you in terms of retention and succession planning as a woman in business, how do you deal with that? How do you keep your company growing? Because sometimes in pizza and smaller local businesses, you can have a high rate of turnover. How do you deal with that?
Well, going back to making sure you're selecting the right people, but because we're in a business that's going to have some natural attrition because we hire high school students and college students, so there's some natural attrition. But it is about selecting the right person. And just equally as important, it's about having the wrong person become an alumni as soon as you know they're the wrong person. So what happens oftentimes when people leave an organization or a small business is because there's someone around them on the team that's not operating with the same values or integrity. And when the leader or the business owner doesn't act on that person that's not operating with the same values and help them, we call it, become an alumni and exit the organization, then you send a message to everybody else on the team that it's okay, and then your morale goes down and people don't trust anymore, and then they leave. So that would be my biggest lesson is when you know you have someone on your team that's not the right person, is do it with respect and dignity, but help them become an alumni of the organization.
Great. Great questions. Some of the questions were questions I had. Great questions. Any more?
Right here. Good morning. My name is
We can't
Florence.
see, so
I
sorry.
can't.
Yeah, no, it's not,
My name is Florence Lathan, and I'm with Lathan HR Consulting. And as you talked about expanding in your markets, I'm just interested in, as much as you're involved in the community and as much of it is as part of your brand, as you expand, what are the considerations that you take in terms of going into other markets?
Great question. One, obviously, is the demographics and households and average income and all the typical things that you would look at. Columbus is such an incredible, we're the #1 opportunity to do business in. I mean, that's unbelievable. So we try to find communities that really replicate Columbus. There's not a lot of them out there because we are such an open and smart community. And we've been very successful here. So most of it is about trying to find communities that really match and replicate who we are here in Columbus. But it's about really in that community, finding the right people. It's also finding the right organizations for us to give back to. So for example, in Nashville, one of our investors is with Rascal Flatts, if you're familiar with them. They're big Donatos fans. And so an investor in that opportunity is with Rascal Flatts. For us, as we go into Nashville, the book that I just finished writing, that was really hard, that those proceeds will go back to a local community charity that we select along with the community on what's important to that community. But again, it goes back to the people. It sounds like a cliche, honestly, but it goes back to the people in the community because that's when not only the customers, but your associates are going to be able to trust the brand and know who they're doing business with.
Can I piggyback on that? I know we're out of time a little bit and talk about your project and the contributions just a little bit. I can't see, so I don't know if Tyler's better than me.
I would love to talk about
Could you
REEF.
please
So,
talk about- yeah.
a lot of what I've been working on was because our Mayor Michael B. Coleman asked for a champion on the South Side, which we're so ever grateful for that. And with that, he asked my dad, Jim Grody, to be a champion. So my dad stepped up. We immediately called the Crane Group and the Crane family, and it is a public-private partnership with the city. And it is such a unique opportunity. We have a board, we have 2 city officials on the board, we have 3 private donors on the board, and we have 1 tenant and 1 community partner on the board. And the board represents, if you're familiar with Reba Avenue. It's a 110-year-old historic building. It's beautiful. It's an elementary school on the south side of Columbus that the city acquired through a swap. And what the city did under your leadership was an initiative called the Southern Gateway Initiative. And this community in and of itself on the south side, which is where our first store was, and that's, I think the mayor said to my dad, is like, hey, how things work out for you? You grew up on the south side, right? My dad's like, yeah. He's like, worked out pretty good for you? I was like, yeah, it did. It's good. I need you to be a champion. So with that, the building, it will hold and house 13 nonprofits. And every nonprofit that will be in this building, we will serve ages from 0 to senior citizens, to food insecure people, to people that are going to be getting their GEDs. And the Veggie Snap program will be able to be used at the Fresh Market, and there'll be a cafe there. And as a mom, I'll be able to drop off my child to the Southside Learning Development Center and walk up the steps and get my GED or workforce development and be placed in a job, and take my boys up to the 3rd floor, my boys and girls to the Boys and Girls Club. So the idea of the building is workforce development and education. That's our singular focus. But I want to say something about the South Side, which is where I grew up. They're hardworking people who really need an opportunity. And it was because of the mayor's vision to say, we need to do something different in this community. There's now about 500 homes that will be rebuilt and renovated. There's a senior citizen, Parsons Village, that was built. Maloney Health Center was built. So the community's coming back alive. And these people are really hardworking people who just need a break, and they need the opportunity. And so the Southern Gateway Initiative was designed to go out to 2,700 homes and complete a survey to say, what is it you need? And so what's unique about this is what this community needs. And so that's what we're doing at the Reba Avenue Center, which I'm really excited about. We've done over 100 tours. We raised $12.5 million along with the city to renovate the building. We have ribbon cutting on September 25th. We invite all of you to come and experience it, especially the cafe. It'll be a wonderful operation. We have hired 2 executive chefs with Mid-Ohio Food Bank that'll serve incredible food there.
That's great. Thank you so much. Let's give another round of applause.
Thank you.
For James. It's been fabulous. I could talk all day.
Thank you very
And I'm a
much.
talker, so I apologize. It's been wonderful, absolutely wonderful talking and meeting you. So I really appreciate it, and I'm sure everyone else here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful.
Cool kids, they seem to get it. I wish that I could